I was joined by Eddie Summers of Up Next Hoops. And when I tell y'all he is really taking Raleigh, North Carolina by storm in the coaching, training, and AAU basketball world, you don't want to miss out, man. The name definitely speaks for itself. So he's really been able to have a direct impact on the youth, from securing a gym in Raleigh, North Carolina. So now they have a centralized location to be able to run their operation, to even, running the social media pages and really getting the word out there via social media as well as word of mouth, just the same. So, and even talks about, some of the struggles that he had along the way. This has definitely not been a walk in the park. The last 6-7 years have definitely been some trial and error, but he stayed locked in and even has a lucky lady by his side who's been able to keep his head on straight. So without further ado, enjoy episode 89, Pick and Roll. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast. Here with Tamar Turner, man. We just passed 1,000 followers on Instagram. We creeping up on 10K plays. I'm just really excited. Creeping up on 100 episodes. Actually, just was able to get an event confirmed for March 19th. So I definitely will be sending all the announcements for that. But we will be headed to Charlotte, North Carolina, and doing a live interview. So very excited for that, and very excited to be sitting down with this guy who I'm sitting down with today. We actually have never met. I was really that goes to show you, one, the power of social media, but two, just the power of like-minded individuals. When two people are just chasing their dreams, chasing their passions, eventually they'll cross paths, and if the cross is good enough, they'll be able to intermingle like we're doing here today. So Eddie was actually somebody who, I want to say, just based off my mutual followers, and I'll let him kind of talk to this, I noticed that he followed me after I interviewed my boy Mark Plummer, who does a lot of stuff with Nerf Pit and just the videography and things like that. Mark came on for episode, I can't even remember the number, but I know that the name is Lights, Camera, Action. So I saw Eddie, he had some mutual followers and things like that, but I loved what he was doing. He was somebody who, as soon as he followed me, was originally immediately showing love. I reached out to him. I told him, kind of what I had going on, what I wanted to do, and he was ready to make it happen. So I definitely have really been following his content, both from my personal page and both from the podcast page. And I love to see it. I love the fact that he's on here today, and I'm very excited for him to get into everything that he does, especially with the youth. So, Eddie, how you doing today, man? How's everything?
Good, man. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's not often I get asked to do one of these, so this is awesome. This is dope.
All right, now we're gonna make it happen, man. So for everybody out there, I know we're gonna have some people who are tapping in who are mutuals of us both. We'll probably have one from each other's side. But for everybody out there who may just be a newcomer and may not know you personally, can you, one, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then two, what brings you on the Down to Business podcast today?
Yeah, man. So yeah, you touched on it a little bit. I first saw your content when you had interviewed Mark. And me and Marcus go back to like high school, so we've been good friends since then. And he's, like you touched on, recently got into the video photography space, and he's done some stuff for me as well. But yeah, I saw that you posted that interview, and immediately I gave you that follow because I was like, oh, this is great stuff. I watched it from start to finish. So and then yeah, we ended up connecting and kind of talking about this. So this is awesome. This is a quick turnaround. Appreciate it again, as always. But yeah, for anyone who's not familiar with what I do, my name is Eddie Summers. I am the founder of my company, Up Next Hoops. I'm a basketball skills trainer here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Been doing it now for about 5 or 6 years, seriously, and just working with kids of all age groups, skill levels, boys, girls, you name it. So I've got kids who are 8 years old, and I got guys that are in college, out of college. So all the way up to, I got a guy that I train who's a good friend of mine who's 29 years old. So I mean, the age ranges. But if you're interested in basketball, I'll work with you. So yeah. But yeah, I appreciate the platform to kind of talk about how it got started and everything like that. And yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, bro. Anything that, like I said kind of in the beginning, anytime that somebody is just chasing their dreams, chasing their passions, it's lovely. I love to see it. I want to, get down to the nitty gritty and really talk about that. But for me, something that's very near and dear to my heart is the youth. I just love, the idea of just being able to impact them. I actually just recently started a new venture with two of my boys who I've actually been able to bring on the podcast, but it's called ABCs. So really talk about, one of my boys, he's on the art side of things. Another one of my boys, he's an entrepreneur. He's on the business side of things, and then I'm the C, the communication side of things. But really just recognizing that the youth are truly the future, man. This next generation up and the generations to come, we're really paving the way for them. and you want to make sure that you're setting the right foundation and just being that positive impact in their lives. So, okay, you said 5 to 6 years ago. Okay, so this is pre-pandemic. So take me back
Oh yeah.
5, 6 years ago. What was really going through your head? Where did really? I'm gonna just make an assumption here, and you can kind of clarify that too. I'm gonna assume that you grew up playing basketball, so especially in the AAU space, which is for all of my hoopers out there, we know what the AAU really gets. I'm not a hooper, but you just know AAU growing up. But yeah, 5, 6 years
Yeah.
ago, what was really going through your head? What were you thinking? Where were you at in life that really made you, kind of want to come into business and really start a company?
So I'll actually take it back even a little bit farther than that. It was probably, I don't remember the exact year. I was out of college. I still had that competitive itch, so I was playing in, you know, every league I could find in the Raleigh area, and I was playing all year round still, like just in these adult leagues. Still, I was working a regular job, but I'm a basketball player. I have been since I was 5 or 6, and I didn't want to stop playing. So, I wanted to keep playing as long as I could, and eventually just I hurt my knee one game, and it was one of those things where it wasn't too serious at the time, just kind of like popped in and out, like scare enough to scare me, but recover it for a little bit, got back out there, and then I started noticing over like the next couple of years some like reoccurring knee issues. One was real bad where it dislocated and like kneecap went all to the side and everything, and yeah, and I ended up having to I tore my patella tendon, had to get surgery. And that was a several month process trying to get back from that, and it was just one of those things where I kind of had to reevaluate. Am I gonna continue to play in these rec leagues where it's fun, you get something out of it like exercise and fellowship and hanging out with your boys and everything, but what's it really doing for me other than that? I mean, so I wanted to stay tapped in with the game, whether it was going to be on a coaching end or a training end. And so I was in the process of kind of figuring out all that, where I wanted to go, what direction I wanted to go. And we go back to about 6 years ago. I had a kid at a local high school kind of reach out, was like, he played on his local high school team, and he wanted me to get in the gym with him and like help rebound, help him get up some shots, stay sharp, with the season coming up. And then ultimately, that one kid just kind of, the next week it was like, oh, I got a couple teammates who want to join. And it went from me being like essentially just a glorified rebounder. I'm just out here catching rebounds and passing it back out to like, oh, I need work on my ball handling. I need, how can I get my shot off faster? So like it just ended up tapping into all these different facets of the game and turned into something from there. And, it started, I tell everybody that starts a business, like, you're not going to, you might not necessarily make a lot of money to start, but you have to like kind of do your time. You have to make sacrifices. And for me, that was huge in the beginning, where I was doing a lot. I was training these kids for free, just doing it because I wanted to start. I wanted to get the experience. I didn't feel like, although I'd played my whole life, I didn't feel like I was in the, I didn't think I had the right to be like charging all these people when this is something brand new that I'm getting into. So I was like, let me kind of develop a little bit of a resume. Let me get some experience. And I worked with this smaller group of kids, 5 or 6 kids for several months. And then, started my social media page, which is at Up Next Hoops on Instagram. And, still kind of using those kids for like different media, showing people what I'm doing, posting some videos, some photos and stuff like that. And that kind of got the word out there that I was starting to, do this training thing, and ultimately started getting more people coming in from that. And then once I felt like I was at a good place where I could really bring it to that next level, and start charging, is was probably about a year in, to be honest. It was just a year of, hey, like, let's get any gym we can get into. I'll grab you guys. We'll get in some work for free, and yeah, see where it goes. But ultimately, it's led me to here. There's been a lot of ups and downs, bumps in the road, and still is. And I feel like there always will be. When you're running a business, there's never going to be smooth sailing, but ultimately, yeah, that's what kind of got me to where I am today.
It's a story. Definitely took us back, man. And I would definitely say one of the most centralized themes I've noticed across this podcast, across these episodes, just across passionate individuals, just in interviews that I've watched, whatever have you, is that it's always a start to the journey. You always start, like you said, you got to work your way up, but you got to put in your time. I think that's a very interesting concept that you use, but very relevant. We hear oftentimes, we look at just different people, whether they be famous, whether they be kind of in my position, your position, about how we have just different products, services, and just different things that we utilize. And we always tell people to be in the space of knowing your worth, to know what's going on. But to some, sometimes our prices just are not resonating with others, and that's okay. Sometimes my business may not just resonate with yours, but sometimes people don't realize that this is work. I didn't charge my whole first year that I did this. I did this just off the strength of the children. Yes, I love this. Yes, I want them to be up next. I want them to do everything that they have to do. But I have a life too. I have bills. I have, responsibilities and things that I have to pay, and a passion I love to do. So a lot of times I love that, just because some people don't always see everything, but the behind the scenes of the process, in a sense, or what it really took you to get to this position. 5 to 6 years later is now up and running social media page, a lot of clients, being able to charge, different things like that. Well, yeah, let's take it back. Some years ago, I was doing this for free. Like you said, I
Yep.
started off just as a glorified rebounder. Just, I was the coolest guy just out there just making it happen. But now, one teammate turned into two, and now we got a whole, we could start our own team, really. But people don't see that part. They just see, oh, he put a price tag on this. That's very expensive, first time coming across him. But if you really take the chance to get to know, a lot of these business owners, a lot of people who are in these positions and have even furthered themselves, it was work. It wasn't easy. And they're still, having to come out of pocket for certain things. They're still probably not even charging what they really could charge. This is really just the price point that they put out there. So I like that a lot. So for me, something that I always think about is that working with kids is just a totally different ballgame. Just from the permissions to just building that rapport to just their kids. Kids are gonna let you know at any point in time what's on their mind, how they're feeling. I love it, but at the same time, I hate it too, because it's just like, wow, like you're brutally honest right now. Like, you didn't even try to sugarcoat that, but we need that. We need that
Yeah.
as the truth. So, what was it like really building that rapport? Was it really having to associate yourself with these parents? Because, like you said, it really just started off with one kid, and then eventually kids kind of came in. So, were they kind of doing the brunt work for you? Were people really trying to figure out who you were? I know you already had a lot of ties with basketball and just growing up and things like that. But what was it really like getting up next, up and running, working with the youth, and really trying to? Because, like you said, you range a lot, and you don't just do boys, you do
Yep.
girls too, you do older folks. So, what was really that like building all of this to get it to where it is right now?
Yeah. So honestly, kind of I'm gonna touch on that here in a second. But one of the things that I had to kind of check myself in the beginning was, I got to a point where I was helping those few handful of kids, for several months, but I was kind of doing it almost in a like a it was just like recreation. It was for fun, but I had a talk with my girlfriend at the she had messaged me one day and was like, hey, like, you need to take this seriously. If you're serious about it, like, go all in. If you're not, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It was just I was still juggling, like playing, playing in these leagues and doing what I wanted to do. And but yeah, she gave me that eye opener of like, hey, I need to take this seriously. And if I'm gonna run a business, I need to run it the right way. It can't just be every now and then I'm running sessions. So like, you need to kind of step it up, elevate your game a little bit. So shout out to my girlfriend. She's still my girlfriend to this day. We're approaching 5 years, so she's given me a big push, and having the support from her has been huge for me. But yeah, so kind of to answer your question there, like, my clients have been awesome. I've developed good rapport with obviously those first few guys, but then having that rapport with them has kind of, I think others have seen how I am with the guys that I had, and they immediately are like, okay, this guy's trustworthy. This guy, like, if they like him and they get down with him, like, then I'm sure I will as well. And ultimately, a lot of where I get my clients from is social media. Like, I'll have kids reach out to me because they see, a post I posted of somebody else, and that gets reshared on a story or whatever, or shared on their Instagram page. Now their followers are following me, and now they're interested in what I'm doing. So a lot of it is just word of mouth. It's social media. It's a parent telling another parent. Um, Honestly, for the longest time, my market mainly was like high schoolers. Like, I was dealing with a lot more of the older kids, and that was relatively easy to, because their friends or teammates would want to join. You know how high schoolers are; they live in the gym, they want to be in the gym all the time, and they have access to cars and stuff where they can get themselves to the gym. Whereas it's a little different when you're dealing with the younger kids. That's when you're dealing more with the parent side of things, and the parents are responsible for bringing them. But I started slowly working with some younger kids, and now I have a whole middle school program, and um, thankful that I've been able to actually this year, as of like a month or two ago, I started my own AAU program with that's a seventh grade AAU team. So went from primarily high schoolers to now I've got a good mix of high school, middle school, and some guys in college. So yeah, but definitely I give all the credit to the kids. And I, like you said, I love working with kids. There's just so much fun to be around the different personality types, and what I've enjoyed and what I kind of hang my hat on is, like, yeah, there's a lot of people that can train this game and that can teach the game, but like, what are you doing outside of the game, to help these kids as well? So like, I try to check in on everybody, shoot Instagram messages even during the week, like, hey man, how's your season going? How did you play last night? Everything good? Like, just stuff like that. And that's kind of developed a lot of, my relationships with the kids. And I think they see that, like, I'm not in it just to collect money and get out. And I'm here to be their trainer, but also be a mentor, somebody that they can talk to about basketball, life, whatever. So, and I think ultimately that's why some people do gravitate towards me, is because I think they can see the genuine personality and everything, and that I genuinely care about them. So,
It's very important to wear multiple hats sometimes. And I think that I'm getting that a lot from your answer, because just that even kind of took me back a little bit, very reminiscent on me growing up. My go to sport was really football. But I really remember, I started football and baseball kind of around the same times, right when I was 9 years old. So I still have, coaches to this day who I remember, who I can resonate with, who check up on me, or just different things like that, just because in the end, it wasn't always about the sport. No matter how young you were, no matter how old I grow, no matter how much success I had, no matter even when I stopped playing, and just different things like that. And you love that. You nothing against. Some coaches were just, look, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that. But time to go home, whatever it is, what it is. But
yep,
a coach, like, or just a trainer, or somebody in general who goes the extra mile to check up on you, make sure that even things outside of the sport, whether it be personal, family, just different things like that, it means a lot. And even as a younger, that's just something that resonates with you. Oh, it's not always about basketball. It's not always about drills or what I can do. It's about he genuinely cares for me, and that's something that as you get older, it just continuously resonates with you. And a lot of what you said was the kids do the work for you, but that's because you put in the work too. You have to be you, in a sense. Like, if they weren't really resonating with you, the success really may not be translating the same. But the fact that they came and they recognize, oh, this is a genuine individual. On top of that, he really knows what he's talking about. On top of that, I'm getting better. Wow. I really,
right.
I want to bring other people into this. And then, like you said, the biggest thing, the power of social media, man. The generation of, I tell my little brother, man, y'all are just, I thought I was good with the tech savvy, with the phones. I'm definitely good at it, but y'all are just, y'all are quick. Something could be sent, shared, reposted in seconds. And at the end of the day, that word of mouth is really good. So, but I like that, bro. I like that, for as engaged, for as passionate you are with the youth and with the kids. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than just a sport. This is a sport that, you grew up to love, a sport that has taught you a lot. But at the same time, you recognize that you're learning from these kids, you're learning from their experiences, and their success is just your success, just the same. So, okay, so what was it really like? Well, at what point, really, because I really don't know how this goes. I know that I've grown up and I've seen a host of my friends play on AAU teams. How
Mhm.
does that how does that come to be, though? Like, how did you start your own AAU team? Like, what did you have to do? Is it just like, did you have to get certified in a certain type of sense? Can you kind of just, is this like an application process? Like, what can you kind of walk us through that process? What that was like getting it started?
It's different today than what it was, I think, when I was younger. But now, like, you can easily, like, there's so many organizations now, like, that is not necessary. Like, back in my day, to roll it back, it was like AAU was like the governing seeing body, amongst travel basketball. But now you have so many different organizations and companies that put on tournaments that are considered AAU tournaments. But like, and you could literally, like, you yourself could grab 10 kids, sign a form and pay a fee, and go show up and play. Like, but there are certain AAU certified, like, events where obviously you have to be registered under the AAU, banner or whatever. Go through, register, and like submit your roster and your name of your team and whatnot. Pay a fee just to get you certified. But technically, do you need that? No. You could go and play a whole summer of tournaments you know and be fine, and all you have to do is pay the $200 per tournament or whatever it is that tournament's charging. um, but ultimately, how I got into it, I mean, it's always been a dream of mine. I wanted to train, but then I knew one day I was like, I want to run an AAU organization. How I was going to get started with that, I wasn't sure, but I was like, man, I'm gonna have enough kids at one point where somebody's going to be interested. Maybe we can grab a group of people. But just this last, I want to say this last went like end of last year, November, December. I had some kids who I was training. They're all seventh grade, and just so happened to reach out and say, like, their parents reached out to me and said, "Hey, Coach Eddie, like, we're looking for a team for so and so. Like, do you know of any?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know of tons of teams." And I was literally just going to like reach out to other AAU organizations because I have friends and connections that coach certain organizations locally, and I was going to work on finding them a team. But before I like could even do that, it was like 4 or 5 kids reaching out now that are looking for teams, and they're all in seventh grade. So it just like it was really coincidental. So that made me think, and I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity now to start something. I'll run with this age group. We got 5 or 6, core players right now. I'm sure they have a couple friends that we can bring in to complete the roster, and ultimately that's kind of what we did. Just had a core group of like 4 or 5 guys, added a couple of their friends, and I mean, we're not like right now, we're not like a top tier program or nothing, but we have a lot of talent, and once we get some more practices and stuff in, I think we'll be able to compete with majority of teams out there. So we've actually played in 2 tournaments the last weekend, and it's been great because ultimately I've had to take off my trainer hat and put the coaching hat on, which is a little different. People always like, I talk to parents, they refer to me as a coach, and I'm like, I'm a trainer. Trainer's more the individual skill side of things. Like I'm going to help your kid with his ball handling, his shooting, his passing, his basketball IQ, ability to react and make the right play, stuff like that. But coaching is more, hey, we're breaking out the clipboard, we're running X and O's, we're doing stuff as a team, not necessarily the individual. Um, so yeah, so it's been cool to kind of wear both hats the last month or two, and it's only helped me honestly with the training side as well, just being able to go out there and actually coach these guys. So it's been fun.
It's really cool that a lot of what you do goes hand in hand. Like you said, that whereas coaching and trainers, those are very two different roles. Being a good trainer can only translate into, developing but becoming a good coach. And if you're a great coach, then you know that you have the training, because like you said, training really hones in on those specific skills. Like, what are we really focusing on? What are we really trying to do? The coaching aspect, I feel like to me, it encompasses it all. And then it more so focuses on like that game plan aspect, that really playing the game of basketball. So that's really cool. But
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of glad that you talked about that, because I had no idea. Like I said, growing up, yeah, I was really so used to the AAU. It was just official. Like my boys used to get the duffel bag. They'd be headed out for the weekend. They'd be traveling somewhere, things like that. So the fact that
yeah,
it's in that space now, that's cool. Like they're giving people more of a creative outlet to have to do that. And whereas it's still AAU specific things. If you're a kid who's just looking for a team, if you're a kid just trying to get some runs in or playing a tournament or something like that, it can give you that exposure. It can give you that experience for sure. So something that you talked
definitely.
about, something that you kind of just mentioned was that you're not a top tier program, not a top tier program yet, because it's definitely on the way. But
Yeah.
so I see the content. I followed a lot of the content. I see what you do. I see how many kids you're training. Like you said, you're running the team now, coaching hat, training hat. You gave a big shout out to your girlfriend, and shout out to the ladies, man, fellas. If that hasn't taught y'all one thing about the interview, but sometimes and I'm gonna say this to myself too. Sometimes you just need a grounded woman in your corner. Somebody with the
Yes.
longevity, somebody who's really going to help you, even just to give you that other side of things. And ladies, this will also go for the fellas too. So we can definitely be that missing piece that you need sometimes. But no, reason why I brought her up was because you just talked about somebody who really kept you honed in, who really kept you locked in, who really allowed you to think about things that you may not necessarily have been thinking about, just in you being one person. So up next, hoops. You're the director. You're the founding father behind it all. But how does really the logistics run? Like, who is, or do you do the social media? Are you doing like the trainings and everything like that? Do you kind of have like a team that's like you're surrounded by? What was it really like building this up to what it is right now?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a one man show, so I'm doing it all myself. Now, not to discredit, like you said, my girlfriend's, she's backed me the whole entire way, and I know I've had a crazy schedule and stuff at times, and there's been times where I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to lay off and like chill on it a little bit, but she's been like, no, go, like, do what you need to do. And like, so that's been amazing. But then also I've had good friends, like got a couple friends who attend workouts occasionally, and they're just there to like, cause they enjoy being around the youth, but also like, they'll just help out. If we're running a drill, they might be a passer in the drill. That's just, you making the pass to the player, and then the player catches, and gets into their move or whatever that it is that we're working on. So they're just and they assist and they just almost like voluntarily, it's just a volunteer helping out. They like to be around the game, being around kids. So, but as far as social media, the AAU thing, and yeah, it's been me by myself essentially. I've got, like I said, I've got the friends, but then I have one of my other friends is assistant coaching with me, and then I've got one of the players on my AAU team. His dad is also assistant coaching, but it's all volunteer stuff. Like, you don't get paid really to be an AAU coach or anything like that. Like, this is me and then the two of them. We're doing it out of the love of the sport and love to just be around the kids and get them a platform to showcase their skills. So um, I have recently just partnered with a gym. So the gym that I train out of is called Red Line Athletics. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina, off of Falls and News, and they've been great. This is kind of goes back to the journey, but one of the hurdles I was facing early on was finding a consistent gym to train out of. So for the longest time, up until this, like maybe 6 months ago, 5 months ago, I was bouncing from gym to gym. I was consistently in the gym, but it might be like Monday I'm here, Wednesday I'm here, Thursday I'm at another space, which you can see as a parent, you'd be like, dang, where's Eddie at today? Like, it just makes it a little difficult. Um, Luckily like the parents of the kids were super understanding of it, but it did make things difficult for them, for me, for all of it. Um, but stumbled across this gym that just opened up over last summer, and they specialize kind of in the performance side of things, where it's like speed and agility, strength training. But they happen to have like a half court basketball court smack dab in the middle of their facility. So I inquired about it, and they were like, yeah, we don't really do a ton of basketball stuff right now. No one, like, not a lot of people really use the court. So immediately we talked about it and we're able to kind of work something out where now that's the official home of Up Next Hoop. So it's good to, it's good. It sounds great to say it. Like, I love saying that, just because like it's all these like 5 years, 4 or 5 years have just been, hey, I'm at this school, I'm at this gym, so it's nice to be able to just call a place home and have a consistent schedule there. And they've done so many great things for me. Um, but yeah, I mean, so it definitely, as far as being employed by Up Next Hoops, it's just me. But a lot of people, helping out and doing what they can do to help me out. They believe in the vision and stuff like that. So definitely can't take credit for all that.
As a one man band myself, I commend it. I know exactly what you mean. It's always interesting to me. Just I could almost consider myself an outsider with a lot of people, like with a lot of businesses. I really don't know, a lot of the operational side of things and how things go. But me just looking at your page, I would have never thought that was just solo work, So I even now have a different type of appreciation for that. Not to discredit you or whatever you do, but you look at the social media, you look at everything that you're doing, you look at just even in your schedule about what we talked about and just how your day is not done. But just think about things like that. It's just like, wow, that's really a passionate individual. That's really somebody who you really have to wake up every day and love this. Like you said, you bouncing around, and I kind of want to touch on something just for the listeners out there as well. I don't really think y'all heard the fact that he said he was bouncing around for 4 to 5 years. And that goes to show, just how 4 to 5 years, that's a lot of time. So, like he said, we're still staying consistent at certain locations, but not a solidified location. That's a lot, with kids, with parents, with cancellations, rescheduling, with people not being able to make it, transportation issues. That's a lot going on. I don't think everybody kind of heard that, but that was really what I heard from that answer, that, there's a process to all of this. So, just because you're not getting that official home or that official sponsorship or that those sales that you want or those numbers that you want, he waited 4 to 5 years, just to be able to, and he smiled about it. I was happy for just to be able to call something home. That's crazy. 4 to 5 years, anybody could, how much you can do in 4 to 5 years, how much you can stop doing in 4 to 5 years, how much you can lose, how much you can gain, but at the end of the day, tunnel vision, 4 to 5 years. Here it is. Yours could be longer. Yours could be 7 to 10. Yours could be shorter, 2 to 3. Everybody just has their own process, But the fact that he is able to be where he is today is because it was trench work for a lot of those 4 to 5 years. So just for somebody out there, patience is key. And I'm talking to myself in just a sense, because sometimes we feel like we got to be in control of everything. Sometimes we feel like, man, like, why can't I just, why can't it just be here today? Why can't we just stay here today? What's going on here? You gotta. It's not for us to figure out sometimes. Just you always gotta know and trust that it's already worked out later down the line. All it takes from you is that consistency, staying
Yep.
steadfast. At the end of the day, if this is really Eddie wanted to do up next hoops. Eddie loved working with the kids. Eddie loved basketball. He recognized that. Look, I'm not about to keep playing in these leagues. Look, man, the medical bills add up, bro. Like we're not children anymore. So I know exactly how you feel.
Yep.
It just got to a certain point where I was like, yeah, I'm having fun with this, but I'm not. My body is not is not feeling right now. I got to make this happen. So he translated that, into something else. So just a little nugget out there, just a little gem for people out there who, patience is definitely a virtue. Always easier said than done. But you got a living testimony of it right here, like he said, and now he can officially call Redline and Raleigh. That's his home, baby. So make sure y'all go see him, and congratulations to you, bro. That's definitely amazing. That's definitely all it takes. Sometimes is just asking about it. It's just seeing something. Closed mouths don't get fed. So had you not said anything, who knows? Another
Yep.
partnership could have came up, or you could have been coming to this facility and just seeing, wow, nothing is happening here. Or then maybe they
Yep.
could have got rid of it because nobody inquired. But now, because you're doing what you do, what if they decide to expand? What if they say, wow, he's bringing a lot of traction here. Wow, he's doing a lot with this, with the kids and everything. Why can't we expand? Why don't we get another court, a full court, or something like that? So you never really know what this all of this conspire and what really the turnaround can be from it. So I love to hear that. I love that not only for you, but for the children, for the parents. You got that centralized location, bro. That's so clutch. So to
It
think
is.
about what you're doing now, to think about everything that you're running, everything that you're learning, building the kids up and everything like that, and everything that you've done. Like we said, you dated this back to 5 to 6 years ago, but it really dates back even further than that. What is really like? I know we talked about the inconsistencies just of being able to have that centralized location, but now that's taken care of. What is one of the most difficult things about what you do, about whether it be daily operations, about just work life balance, about just, getting the kids all on one page, about traveling, commitments, and things like that? What is really something that, the average outsider like myself looking in may not know that you struggle with or that you have to deal with?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. There's a few different things I could touch on, but like the the balance is huge. Because I haven't mentioned it, but like I don't even do this full time. This is on top of my regular job that I work full time. So I'm working a regular job, 9 to 5, and then pretty much right after that, I'm in the gym almost every night, doing sessions, group sessions, private sessions, whatever the case may be. But so there's definitely the times where I'm like, man, it's overwhelming, doing my regular job. But the ultimate goal is to do this full time, one day, and I feel like I feel like that day's coming soon. But um, I don't want to rush into it. I don't, I know there's the testaments and like the stories of, hey, sometimes you just got to take a risk, and I'm all for that. For me, I like to take calculated risks. So like, yes, I'm gonna take a risk at some point, but I have a good job right now. Good thing going for me with my job. So it'd be tough for me just to leave that and enter the unknown, I guess. But I've been able to do it full part time for the last 6 years now, and not to haven't ran into too many hurdles as far as just people being upset that I'm not doing it more, because I'm pretty much in the gym every day. Not every day, but about 5 days a week. And then I adjust to people's schedule. If there's day I'm not in the gym or don't have anything scheduled, players will reach out to me and say, "Hey, like, can we do something tomorrow?" And I'll be like, "Hey, well, may not be on the schedule, but yeah, let's set it up." And I'm pretty adaptable. But yes, so time management's been huge. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you, just like the business side of it and the the money side of it and stuff, I need to be better at, because I get so trapped in this. Like, this is my passion. I would do this for free, and that's all 100% true. But also, I've been doing it a long time now. I need to know, like you said, like you got to know your worth. You gotta sometimes, like, if someone hasn't paid, like, you got to step up and say something. Sometimes, you can't just let them keep. If they don't pay once or twice, then it turns into 3 times, 4 times, and it turns into a domino effect. So there's times where I think I have to be a little bit more direct, or a little bit, talk to certain people that you may not be paying, or maybe kind of sliding by under the radar, and um, yeah, just running the money side a little bit better. And yeah, it's just been there's a lot of roadblocks. You touched on it a little bit earlier. Like, what I had to learn early on was, just everybody's situation is different. Like everybody's, people accomplish the things they want to accomplish in different time frames. Everybody's path is different. So you know, I give this advice to anyone that's starting a business, anyone that's getting into something that they love, is just like be patient. Be patient because yes, you may see people in the same industry that pop up, they're brand new into it and take off immediately, and then there's going to be people that take 10 years before you get to where you want to be. But and it gets tough because you see, oh, this guy's new in my space, I've been doing this 3 years, but he's in it 6 months and already is just crushing it, blowing it out the water. But it's not about comparing yourself to others. You have to worry about the your clients that are sitting there in front of you. You do the best job with them, more people will come and your time will come. So I think in all spaces we get caught up in comparing each other. What's this guy doing that I'm not? Or comparing the who's who, and you just can't do it because you'll just eat yourself alive doing that all the time. So focus on your path, your goals, and they'll get there. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, if you truly love it, you'll keep grinding. You'll stay consistent. Consistency, like you spoke of, huge. So
Come on now, that's the one thing I love about success. It's no secret recipe, man. It can look totally different. Everybody situational. It can be,
yeah,
you could literally wake up one day and just wow, just be viral, just be successful, just be, and you could wake up
yeah,
10 years later in that same way. So I think that that's a
yeah,
great message, a great gem for sure. So before we get into the social media, I know you dropped it earlier, but I always like to end the episodes with the, just where they can contact you, everything like that. Is there anything that
yeah.
you feel like, we have not touched on today in regards to Up Next Hoops? Is there anything that you kind of want to give us as an outlook to the future? What can, the kids expect or anything like that, or what you guys have coming up? Anything, any kind of like last words you want to leave us with?
Yeah, no, I mean, goals for Up Next Hoops. I mean, I'm just going to try to continue to grow, continue to impact as many kids as I can. Ultimately, long term, I want to have my own facility, and have access to my own court where I can be in there, as long as I want, hire some trainers or people underneath me that I can maybe teach the way. They can get their feet wet and then go branch off and do what they want to do, or they can stay, connected to Up Next Hoops if they wanted. But that ultimately that's one of my goals as well, because I'm here to help the kids, but also, what if there's some kids coming up that want to learn to be trainers? Like I'm all for, sharing my experiences and my knowledge that I've got. I don't have all the answers, but I can help. I've been here for 6 years, so I'd love to help others. And I think that's what we have to do more of too. Don't be afraid to collaborate with people that are doing the same thing as you. We're not all competition. Like ultimately, if it's better for the game if there's hundreds of good trainers versus let me just keep what I know to myself, and not help that next generation of trainers or help the guy next to you. So, um, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing, stay consistent, keep my head down, do what I need to do, and help these kids and see where it goes. But yes, I'd like to in the near future be able to quit my regular job and do this full time and continue to continue to build, continue to grow.
He just motivated me, man. I'm not even a hooper, but yeah, man, that's definitely the goal, bro. Definitely just in thinking about your passions and just what you really do, what you love, man. At the end of the day, you have to look at the situation in front of you, and that's something that one of my boys, Joe, his episode "He Don't Feed," he talked about how he runs sneaker reselling in his boutique and things like that, but he still has his 9 to 5 at Foot Locker. It's not
Mhm.
only been able to set him up for success, but it funds what he wants to do. So for some people
Exactly.
realize that right now you may feel stagnant. You may feel like, yo, I just want to give this all up and go in full, full regalia. But you have to understand, going in full regalia to something, it's going to be a lot more problems than your 9 to 5. You're going to have, and this
Right.
is on you. It's not
Right.
on, you can't fall back on the boss or the company or manager or put it off till tomorrow. This is you immediate, directly. So I love that, bro.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, it was a pleasure to be able to get tapped in with you. It's been a pleasure really just being able to watch your content. I love that I know Mark because Mark put us in contact, man. So big shout out to my man, Mark, and everything that he's doing. And I'm very glad that y'all have been able to partner and make it happen. But, bro, like I said, from me to you earlier, just being the one man band, just really doing what you do with the youth and everything like that. I take my hat off. I don't have a hat on, but I take it off for sure. You know that it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it, bro. And you definitely have the energy. You have that passion for it. I can just see it. I love the content. I love what you're doing. And I think that, looking back on this, the kid's success is truly going to be a success. I know it's been amazing to already watch some success stories, but you only, have more to come. You got the official home now. You're really making it happen. And I know that eventually, whereas you're starting in Raleigh, up next will be expanding, man. I know that eventually this will be a worldwide thing and even a global thing. So if there's anything that, we can do on this side or I can do, I'm gonna definitely be thinking about some of my boys and definitely starting to pay attention to pages more closely because I do have some people in Raleigh and I feel like I can make some connections just with a couple of my boys who are trainers and just do different things like that. So we'll definitely be in touch on that side, bro. But thank you for sharing this
Yep.
platform with me. I appreciate it, man. I'm definitely excited for what you got coming, man. It's definitely a lot going on in the year and. Nothing but success for Up Next Hoops, man. So for everybody out there who continues to listen, who continues to tap in, I gave y'all everything that we got in the beginning. We got a lot coming. We got a lot coming, but obviously, Eddie and his and the guys and the gang and the kids, they got a lot coming as well. So definitely tap in with them. I'll make sure I add all of that to the episode. So for everybody out there, man, this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.